Hello, people. My name is Mohini Dey, and you're watching my brand new talk show, What a Melophile Wants. Now, I strongly believe that in every age group, generation, there is an evolvement, sort of development of all kinds in all fields. But over the years, sometimes there is a fundamental change, or say metamorphosis, that happens in different forms at certain times. That seems to be happening on our planet for so many, many years. But it's also happening in our music, through us as people as well. Today, I have someone whose music has influenced me and inspired me from a very young age. And when I hear his music, I felt the shift happening throughout his journey, all his journey. His unique masterworks and freshness is just so unlimited. Today, I have an extraordinary personality on my show who has outdone every boundary, and he has the swag, he has the charisma, and he's the boss, who is a 3-time Grammy Award winner and a 15th time nominee. He's an American guitarist, composer, singer, songwriter, and a producer who has had hit albums such as Passion and Warfare, Crossroads, Fire Garden, Sex and Religion, etc. So many more. He needs absolutely no introduction by now. You guys have already probably guessed. He's none other than the unreal Steve. Why?
All right.
I hope I did well.
That was the peanut gallery. Congratulations on your show.
Oh, thank you. I'm really enjoying it. I have so many amazing artists that are on board, and I'm so fortunate to have you on board. So thank you very much for doing this. So firstly, how are you, and how is this quarantine zone? How are you coping up with this,
I'm in Southern California, Los Angeles, and we've been in lockdown for now, I think 7 or 8 weeks. And, I know that there's a lot of challenges for a lot of people at this time, but frankly, we seem to be doing really good. I mean, nothing as much has really changed for me because I live in my studio.
Right.
Living here, it's actually nicer because now there's not a lot of appointments and stuff. I can get a lot of work. But
right.
Yeah, but other than that, our boys are kind of working from home, and Pia gets to ride her horse every day still. But
that's cute.
Yeah, it's good. It's all right. Yeah.
It's great. That's amazing. Now, speaking about evolvement and development earlier, I want you to tell my listeners, how did you evolve as a person, and was it the same as growing up to be a musician, or were there are 2 different paths that you had to go through as a kid to find that one which made you have this marriage between your music and you as a person?
Yeah. Oh, good question. Well, I think evolving is natural. Everybody is constantly evolving. So you can't really help that. And what you were saying in the beginning about this evolutionary kind of shift that's happening, as sometimes the term that's used is paradigm shift.
Right.
And these paradigm shifts have always occurred on the planet. At some point there was a growth in all fields, a major growth. Like, we go like this and then it's sort of like,
Right.
I believe, I agree with what you say. I believe that that's happening now. So in order for it to happen now, it has to happen through people. And I know that that's happening through me because it's happening through everybody.
Right.
So, when I was younger, obviously I didn't give any of this any thought. Loved playing the guitar. That's right. What I loved music. I loved the idea of composing music, and I loved the idea of not being able to play something and then work on it, and then all of a sudden you can play it. You know that.
Right. Yes.
That a lot of people don't know. You just playing and playing and playing, and you have to get better,
Absolutely.
And that became addictive to me, as I assume it has for you, because
absolutely,
person cannot play like you without having a deep connection, a deep interest that keeps you compelled to grow and grow and grow. So that the only thing that was, wasn't the only thing, but it was the thing that felt predominant for me. Just follow the music.
That drive, that hunger was always there as a kid growing up.
yeah, the love for the instrument, and everything came along with it. The success was kind of a consequence. It's
Right.
you know, like in your
So it
career.
was never thought through. You never thought about it. Did you have any goals set for you as a kid growing up that, okay, this is what I want to do? Did you always know you wanted to be a guitar player?
I never came to a point in my life where I felt like I needed to make a choice. There was never a
That's a
point.
good one. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, because it would have meant that there was an option, and I just never even an option was never even on my radar. You know, it wasn't even there was never a time where I thought, "Are you sure you want to do this for the rest of your life?" But yeah,
Spooky.
like you love playing. The end. Just keep
Yeah.
playing, and
Yeah.
and that just I think that happens with people that just have a natural kind of inclination to do one thing. Now,
Right.
a lot of people do different things in life. They may do this for a little while, and then that for a little while, and then that, and that's fine. They just have different. I think the idea of having,
Outlooks.
yeah, having to have one career, I don't necessarily think that's not a rule.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
it's not a rule. But for some people, it's just the way it is. That's kind of the
True,
way
true.
for me. Yeah.
But you, as a musician, like you are, this swag that you have and you perform on stage, and this fire that comes out through your playing. Are you the same person on stage and off stage?
Well, yes, parts of me are. I'm like the same kooky
Yeah,
guy, you know.
absolutely.
But once I have the guitar on and the music is flowing through me, I've always liked theater. You know, I always liked performance. I never saw myself as just being sort of like a serious guitar player. You know, I like performance. The ham is cooking with me. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah,
It's like I'm a
yeah,
show,
yeah, yeah.
and I wear it
Totally.
very proudly because I step out of the way. Do you know what I mean? And I just try to just allow the
It to
music.
flow through you.
And
Yeah.
when that happens, then this a particular type of swag that's right for
Right.
you comes in. It just comes in. Like
So who were your, sorry, what were you saying?
when I watch you play, you have heavy swag, you know, beautiful swag, but it's very different than mine, and it's different than Prince, and it's different than Jimmy Page. You know what I mean? It's when a
I mean,
person finds,
yeah.
yeah, when they find that the swag kind of comes organically.
Yeah, it's individuality that comes through, I guess, your foundation, all
Yeah,
these inspirations and influences, all the people that you've seen growing up. And, in my case, I grew up watching a lot of drummers and bass players and
yeah,
saxophonists, and I used to pick up all their solos and try to study them and see what works. Why did he use that? Why did he use this? Oh, I like this. I'm going to take this. I like this. I'm going to take this, infuse it. And then I had my own sound.
yeah.
So what was your process of finding your individuality?
Well, it was interesting because when I was very young, I was, you get influenced by the music that your parents bring into the house or your
Right.
brothers and sisters.
Uh-huh.
Parents were listening to like Italian polka music, comedy records, but then they did bring in the music of West Side Story, the soundtrack recording, and that blew me away. I was a little kid, 6, 7, 8. And the music, the melody is absolutely brilliant. It had everything that I loved. It had orchestrations. I mean, Leonard Bernstein. It had really cool lyrics. It had theater. It had drama. It had intensity, and it had rhythm, and it had all these great things. So I just that's it. That's what I want to do. I want to be a composer. So I became fascinated with notes and learned how to read and write music before I even started playing the guitar.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then my sister came home with Led Zeppelin. That sealed my fate because when I heard that, I just wanted to play the guitar. And although I didn't create like a project in the future of being a rock star,
Right.
I made believe I was one then.
Yeah, you got to believe in yourself before anybody does. Otherwise, you can't make it.
What does it matter if anybody else believes in what you want to do?
Or not. Yeah, totally. So true.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay, that was a great answer. What was your first big thing that happened to you in your personal life? And probably, I don't know, personal life, I guess for some people, personal life is so interconnected with their professional life. It's almost the same. There's no difference. But for some people, it's two different lives, which they don't like to, like that. They like to keep it separate. They don't like to keep it together. So I don't know in your case how it is, but what was that first big thing that happened to you in your journey, I would say?
Do you mean in my personal life that doesn't necessarily have to do with music?
No, as in, like I said, no. For some people, their personal life is so related to their professional life, right? For in my case, it's completely different. I like to keep my personal life separate and professional life separate. I'm like you said, on stage, I'm a different person, and off stage, pretty much same. But for me, it's like I am kind of the same person, even on stage and off stage, right? Not much difference at all, I would say. Yeah. For some people, it's like two different personalities altogether, you know.
Like
so
when I walk to the refrigerator, I don't go like this.
yeah. Yeah, like even in terms of behavior, sometimes I've met people like they are so shebang on stage, and then when they come off, they're like, "Oh, hi," you know, or vice versa.
You would know about me if I that,
totally.
but you know, there's so many experiences that we have that change our whole. They can change our whole perspective on life.
Right.
You know, that happens almost constantly, but. As far as the music goes, I think that the personal experiences for me and for anybody has to affect the music somehow. You know, it has to have some kind of effect. But to point to one big event in my life, probably one of the most defining moments for me was when I was 6 years old, and my mom got me this little spinet organ. Right? Organ. And I remember, so I always wanted it. I loved it. I just, you know, my aunt had like a piano and stuff. And I remember hitting a note, and I noticed that to the right, the note went higher.
Right.
And to the left, they went lower. And at that very moment, it was like a paradigm shift.
Okay.
Okay, that's what music is. I get it. Now I know because I could see it. I don't know why. It was just maybe karma came into the world with that. Musicians do, you know. Musicians but the interesting thing was, two things happened at that moment. I kind of understood the infrastructure of music, not in great detail, but just the big picture. I also realized that. And this was kind of profound understanding when I think about it now, that the creation of music is infinite, that now that I know that this is how music is made, all of a sudden, all of these, they weren't solid ideas, but it was the recognition that I could be wildly creative with little black dots, you know, and I could create things. And this all happened like that. And then like that, you know, it was like, oh, and then, you know, and that, it was almost as if in some previous life I had some understanding of music. And at that moment, when I hit the note, I woke up to that, you know, so I think that was probably a typical experience.
That's so cool. It happens to me sometimes as well. I'm playing something and I feel like I've already played that before, but I've never played that before. So so everybody wants to know, when did you start working on these intricate details of your playing, and how, like the participation of the coast notes, syncopation, phrasing, how did you go about it, and when?
Yeah, well, it started in the beginning. You know, when I started playing the guitar, I had a lot of artists I was fans of, I was a fan of, and I would listen to like great blues, great jazz, great classical, great rock, but I never felt like I was good enough to be authentic in any particular genre. It's like, well, that's really great blues, but why would I want to play like that when somebody else is doing it so much better than I could? And it's really, it didn't sound unique to me.
Right.
I mean, it was unique in itself, but
Right.
so I think that kind of inner attitude enabled me to look for odd things while I was playing. So that's really what happened. I didn't feel good enough to be authentic in any given genre.
Right.
So I started to develop these weird kind, a riff would come out and I said, well, I haven't heard that. That's me.
Right.
So then I would look constantly for those kinds of ideas. I didn't realize I was building my own style.
Right, that's the way. In fact, I was going to come to that. You just said it so beautifully. Like a lot of people find it so hard and find it a huge struggle to find their own sound, find their own tonality and vibe and their own voice. And this is one way of doing it. And in my case, it was a similar kind of way. I used to just, like I said, pick up songs, pick up solos, sometimes pick up small improvisation licks that I would love, and then copy it, study it, and that would be the first step, which is copying. And a lot of people have this struggle. They end up sounding like exactly the artist. I guess they don't know what is the right balance and quantity to take from each and make it your own, that process.
Yeah, I think that at the core of that lies their disbelief in their own inner musical voice. They don't recognize it because they don't look for it. Because most people, as you probably know, many young musicians, they believe that there's a method and there's a way that you have to play in order to do it the right way, and they don't want to do it the wrong way because if they do it the wrong way, but there isn't.
Any wrong way or right way, yeah.
It's fine to listen to your inspirations,
Yeah.
And it's fine if you don't even develop your really own unique style. You're going to sound unique somehow.
Yeah.
Person loves playing like Stevie Ray Vaughan, and that's all they want to do. That's fine.
Yeah.
But some people, if there is a person out there that wants to find their own voice and exaggerate it, they have to know that it's there, first of all, because a lot of people don't believe it's there, and I'm here to tell you that it is. and also they can find it when they start looking for things as they play that feel and sound different to them than what they're used to.
Yeah, and I think eventually it is going to sound different because nobody can exactly literally sound like the person. No, they can't. It will somewhat sound different. Yeah, maybe what do you say? Maybe we might know that, okay, that lick is from that artist, but it will not sound the same, literally.
Exactly. Never,
in a literal sense, yeah.
I mean, how many people have you heard try to copy Hendrix and not even one note they play?
Yeah.
But Hendrix would never be able to sound like them either.
Yeah.
It's like there's theoretics to it that just will never match up.
So true, so true. So now you're such a busy musician and you're always traveling, always touring. How was your practice routine like before when you were touring? And now that you have all this time to yourself, what is your practice routine like?
Well, my routine, I don't really through my life, my practice routine has changed. When I sit and play now, it's based on what I need to do. Like if I'm working on a particular song and I'm doing the guitars, I might just play all day. And if there's a particular riff that I want to achieve, it might take me 3 days of like shedding it to get it. To record once,
Right.
But then there's times where I'm mixing or I'm doing some other projects and I don't really get to play even that much. But but it balances out.
Right, right. Like, I spoke to Billy, I asked him the same question, and he said he would practice like an hour before the show, until an hour before the show. Like, from the time he would get to the venue, and he would play till like 4 a.m., and the gig starts at like 6 p.m. I was like, wow. And then yeah.
Yeah, Billy always was playing. He always, and if he didn't have a bass, he was kind of doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all these finger exercises. Yeah.
He does all these wild kinds of,
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a total musician from head to foot.
Yeah.
He died in the hue of his craft.
Yeah, he's so dedicated. Very, very dedicated. Like in my case, I used to practice a lot, and I would spend like 8-9 hours a day working on that one thing that I want to get. And then so many years, like from the age of, I would say 7 till the age of, I would say 18 or 19, I would do that. I would practice like whole days, and try to study this and that. And then after that, I got busier, started to tour, and then started recording on projects. And now when I work for them, it's like practice for me, because it's all in here. Like it's all the creativity that kicks in, and that I feel now is like my mental practice, and it just naturally happens. And when I hold my bass now, after like a long time, all these new things come off, because all these emotions that I went through all these days when I didn't touch my bass, I guess it just all comes out through my playing after I touch my bass. That's really interesting.
It sounds like a common kind of path where in the beginning you just have to put the time in to develop technique. And
yeah.
The amount of technique you develop is based on what you want to do,
Right.
Billy Sheehan needs a lot of technique because that's what he wants, but maybe someone like John Paul Jones, or somebody, another, like a regular rock bass player, doesn't need a tremendous amount of technique. Same thing with guitar, but there is a period where you go through where you have to hone your craft.
Yeah, true.
And then there's an opening for the creativity to flow through you effortlessly because you got all the chops now. You don't have to.
Right. You don't need to practice those again. You've done enough. All the foundation is locked in, some people, true, right. Some people would warm up like until the gig starts, and I find it nice, but I used to do that, but then now it doesn't work for me. It just makes me lose my stamina. Me
too. I'm good. I start playing, and 1 hour before the show, I don't see anybody, and I just warm up. I warm up, and you got to be careful not to over warm up.
Right.
You know what it's like when you're actually on stage playing. What happens is very different than when you're sitting at home playing. It's like the real battlefield.
All the vibrations in the body are different.
The muscles you're using are different. You're not going to get it sitting at home.
True.
So I find if I play too much on a show day, my fingers can get kind of fatigued and through the show.
Right. I still remember, the first time when I got up with you on stage, I think that was in Pune. I think that was the first one we played together. And I wanted to talk about the Shillong, which was the coldest one. That was really hard because it was so cold and the fingers would freeze. It was freezing. I remember Philip covering himself and rubbing his body parts, and I'm like, oh yeah. And I was wearing this dress and I'm like freezing. I was wearing sleeveless and I'm like, okay, I need to put on a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, something to cover myself because I need to play.
But to play when your hands are cold.
Oh my God. And then I came up. Yeah. Sorry?
Have you ever played in the snow?
No, I've never experienced snow, actually.
You've never? No, really?
No, never. I want to so badly. I have never seen snow, never. Never touched. Yeah.
The shit's cold.
I play bass after that, I guess.
Yeah, I played a couple of outdoor gigs where it started to snow. And man, I could. It was funny. I was with Whitesnake and we're at Red Rocks, and it was snowing hard. and it was so cold. I remember my solo came, and I'm thinking, how am I going to get through this? I am not. And sure enough, the solo came, and I'm going. Put, 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 put. Ah, I just stopped.
Yeah, I remember one time I was playing a gig and it was cold. It was obviously not snowing, but it was kind of like drizzling, and it was very cold. The breeze was extremely cold, and my like string broke due to the cold, and that
Yeah,
happens so many times, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, crazy. But I played that whole show without my G string. Okay, that sounds wrong.
But you were really cold.
Okay, okay, that sounds wrong.
Freeze. Yes.
Techie, please go get my G string.
That's right.
Oh God. Oh God. How did you work on the consistency of your performance? Now, you're not just a player, right? You're a true performer. It's all about the look, vibe, energy, and the shebang that you have. So, how did you keep up? Was that always there? As you know, the first time when you get up on stage, do you remember the first time you got up on stage and having that kind of like feeling that, oh, I want to rock it and I'm going to do this and I'm a true performer and I'm going to perform, because you have like that whole act and that dramatic, scenario. So was that always there, or did that happen much later?
I think it was always there because I always, in my mind, even when I was a little kid, loved the idea of being that. I would picture in my mind, I'd see myself in my mind playing very effortlessly and elegantly and moving around almost like a wizard and sharing and lifting people. And that was the image that I focused on. And I understand. I mean, you become what you think about. And
Right.
I turned into that. And I'm still a work in progress because the way that what you were talking about, that was always there, but there was periods of time where I didn't have the courage to express it because, you've seen me perform. I'm kind of quirky. I can do weird things, and the way I play can be a little quirky sometimes. I love it, but it hasn't come without its criticisms. And when I was younger, I used to buy into those criticisms. But then but the very first time, my very first show, I was 13, and I was playing at the high school, at a dance at the high school, and we were doing all I was only playing for like 6 months or something, And right before 3 days before the show, I was so nervous, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I was throwing up.
Oh my God.
And I remember thinking, I really like playing the guitar, but I will never want to, I do not ever want to go on stage. I don't, for the rest of my life, I don't care if I never hit stage, right? And then finally, the day came, and I was so nervous, and I remember walking to the stage, and I walked up on the stage, and I plugged my guitar in, and we started to play, and I felt like I was home.
You belonged there.
All that went away, and I was like, you are in control. You are an entertainer. You are here for them. You entertain, and so that's when I actually started, the ham started cooking, right?
Right there.
Yeah. And then through the years, I've tried to control it because more insecurity, but then now it's like I just try to go as deep as I can. I try to allow myself to go as I can into that, that thing.
Right. Do you get nervous anymore?
The only nervous, I wouldn't say. No, I get excited for gigs. It's not nervous. Throughout the day, maybe know what I'm talking about here. If it's a show day, I have this radar that like everything that I eat, I'm very careful of what I do with my hands. If I'm closing a door, I'm conscious. So that I don't know if that's not nervousness. It's just, but there is that feeling.
I guess that hunger of doing the best, right?
Yeah. The only time I wouldn't say nervous, but just a little, I mean, I used to get nervous, but it's when I have to do something live.
I still get nervous, like
Yeah, I
so
have to
bad.
be live like TV in front of millions of
Right.
people, like
Yeah.
Grammys or
Yeah.
American
Like
Idol
that.
or something like that. I've done that stuff, and it's like, ah.
I get nervous even for club gigs, like even before I get on stage, and I'll be like talking to my bandmates, mostly people that I know and I trust, and I'll be like, "Oh my God, I think I'm gonna cry." You know?
How do you feel once you get on the stage?
Like a queen, diva.
Yes,
Like no fear at all. I'm like,
there at all. Yeah, that's it.
nobody gonna tell me what to do.
That's right. You own the place.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, we're towards the end of the questions. I'm gonna take, I guess, one more. Go on. Okay, so how much of your playing in your gigs, especially solos, is completely improvised over chops or say patterns that you've already worked out before? And if it's both, then how do you keep that balance?
Yeah. The vast majority is worked out because a lot of my songs, even the long instrumental ones, are all melodic.
Mm-hmm.
So you take a song like Tender Surrender or Whispering a Prayer or For the Love of God, I don't change those. They're unchangeable to me. They're melodies from beginning to end. And
Right.
I absolutely no problem playing the same thing over and over because you can always infuse something with a deeper energy.
Right.
But I think if there weren't portions of the show where I was completely improvising, I'd go crazy.
True, true.
Probably maybe 20%, 25, it's hard to say, is
Yeah.
just improvising.
And would you say, for example, today you did a show and you were approaching for something and it didn't register the way you wanted it to feel, and tomorrow would you give it a shot again, or would you try completely something else?
Well, there's sort of like strands of ideas that like, for instance, if I hit the sustainer and I start doing those Indian style fast,
Yeah. Yeah, the great things there.
yeah, sometimes that works. And sometimes I'll go to do it and it'll be like I've got glue on my fingers or something. It just sounds terrible, and I'm like, okay, it didn't work tonight. Let me try it tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, I did the same. Yeah, sometimes I feel like, oh, that's not what I thought it would sound like, but yeah, close. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, you're a freak. I mean, the way you play is so beautiful to watch. You're absolutely one of those people that you're connected, and you're connected in a way that's both authentic, organic, and very powerful. It's just a very natural thing in you, and you found it, and you express it with unbelievable confidence and clarity. And that's one of the things that I love most in music, when I see that.
Thank you so much. Coming from you, it means a lot.
Yeah, you really deliver. You got that gift. And I'm so glad we've had opportunities to play together and more. I know there'll be more.
Absolutely. I would love that. I'd love that.
You're a totally different thing than what's out there, and there's nothing like you. Is there? I don't think so. Is there? I mean, is there anybody? Trying to think. No, I don't know anybody. That's rare. I mean, there's a lot of people out there like me, like not like me, but are males that are play guitar in this style, but I don't think there's anybody like you.
Yeah, it was great fun playing your song for the first time, learning your song and just studying how beautiful the melodies are. It was just, my dad was so happy, firstly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, and then just kind of a little bit of planning about what I want to do and what I want to, because I didn't want to overdo it in any way, because it's a beautiful melodic song. And, sometimes making those decisions can be hard when you've never played with a person before. And that was me trying to make a wise decision, I guess. And Yeah, it worked out well. It was fine. First time when I got up on stage with you, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But like I said, would you give it a shot again? And I gave it a shot again. Then second time, and it worked perfectly all right. Everything was.
Jamathon?
No. I'm talking about the India shows that we did together. Yeah, the one in Pune and then the one in Shillong.
Stuff, but I thought you delivered great both times. But you know,
it was different.
You only know what's comfortable for you.
Yeah, totally. I think I think like a drummer most of the time. So I'm always trying to kind of build a story when I'm soloing.
Yeah.
For me, solos really matter a lot more than playing in the song. That's like okay for me. I know I'm gonna do fine. But when it comes to my solos, I'm really particular. I'm sure it's the same with you. You want to give out a story that's in your head, right? You want it to sound as lyrical as possible, right? And that was the same with me. And to make those decisions when you've not played with someone before can be hard in those times.
You got to feel out the aura.
Absolutely, and I was listening to your drummer and Philip playing backstage. I was just waiting for you to call me on stage. I'm like, woo, butterflies in my stomach. Oh my god, oh my god. It was really scary.
And you always look marvelous.
Yeah, I love fashion. I've always really, really loved fashion. Just like you. You look at your clothes when you're playing. Oh my god, I love them.
Imagine how cool to see someone like you, first of all, a woman, right? Which is, not uncommon, but not as common.
Right.
And to be able to play like the way you're playing, but also it shines because of your fashion sense too. It's like, I mean, if you one note, it'd be like, whoa, and then all of a sudden playing, and it's like, what the fuck is going on here?
It's like a movie. Like you said, you want that whole production value, right? I like to be that brand. I like to be that actor in that movie,
Yeah. Yeah, and you paint that picture really well, and a lot of people. There are people that are such purists, they're kind of like snobby.
Yeah.
Feel that any kind of display of theatrics or is insincere or non-authentic, and no, the various things come in different packages.
Yeah, there's constructive criticisms and then there is the nonsense ones.
Yeah.
Who cares? I don't care.
Yeah.
I care about the constructive ones, yes. If it's coming from people that I really love, yeah, definitely. I would take it under my consideration and give it a shot in my own life and the doings that I do every day. Totally.
We do, when it's coming from a good place.
Yeah. Yeah, like I love the way you talk, and sometimes you say things it makes so much sense, and I relate to it. Everything that you say, it just relates with me so much. I guess my whole life, even just me as a person, keeping my musicianship on the side, just me as a human being, everything that I've been through, and along with that is just everything so relatable. That's amazing. It was so lovely talking to you, Steve. Firstly, after such a long time. And we never really hung out this way.
Yeah, it's always nice to talk to you.
Tell me a little bit about how you felt playing on the song and how do you feel it will relate with the people? What are your thoughts?
I enjoy playing on music that was created by people who have a cultural foundation, and especially, I mean, of course, I love Americans and all that, but when you're working with somebody from another country, something as also as exotic as India, you can't help it. You could listen to all the same music as anybody else, but there's still a tradition. There's a culture that flows into what you do. So I heard, and I thought that was really charming, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to participate. But then there was also there's a very nice accessibility to that track. It's not like musoed to the point where it's unlistenable.
Yeah, it's not too complicated as well. I didn't want to make any kind of those things because a lot of people would say that, oh, she's so technical when it comes to her playing. Her music also might be really complicated. But no, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to kind of challenge myself and explore this new side of mine. And I had always loved listening to Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, of course, like all the funk. I love funk. And when I'm grooving.
Yeah. Have you heard Jacob Collier?
Oh yeah, definitely. He's one of my favorites. I've checked out his playing and some of his interviews.
I'd love to see you playing with him.
Yeah, I don't think he knows me though. He doesn't.
I'll have to send him something.
Yeah, that would be lovely. I would love to play with him and in fact just chat.
That sounds great. Hey, it's so good to see you. Good to talk to you.
Same here. So this is the last part, which is the rapid fire round. It's like quick and then out, and we're done. If you could switch to any other instrument, what would it be?
Cello.
Yeah, cello.
Love the way it sounds.
Nice. What is the worst compliment you've received so far?
The worst compliment?
Yeah. I know that must be hard, yeah, for you.
Well, there's so many worst compliments.
Oh, really?
Yeah. With that hair, with his hair being blown up in the air like that by his fan. What was it? It was really funny. He looks like a runaway wizard.
What?
Something like that.
That's crazy.
Fan
for me,
sometimes.
I understand, yeah. For me, it was somebody came up to me after the show and he was like, oh, your dress is nice. I'm like, after all the hard work, that's all you noticed?
That's right. You're out there doing all the heavy lifting and they're like, oh, I like your earrings.
It's funny, yeah. What annoys you the most?
When I run out of batteries in the middle of a tape.
Middle of the show?
Yeah, middle of the show. Mm-hmm. I don't get annoyed very easily. These days, I get annoyed less, but that one still bugs me.
Tell us something personal that the whole world don't know about you.
Something that the whole world doesn't know?
It could be like anything that you do in everyday life.
I love flowers.
You love flowers? That's cute. I like bunnies.
Yeah, I mean I was going to say, well, I'm a beekeeper. No, everybody knows that. Well, I'm a vegetarian. No, everybody knows that. Well, I'm trying to think, what do people not know?
Everything. They know everything about you. Describe yourself in 4 words.
A work in progress.
That's a good one. Okay, with that, we're done with our interview, and I thank you so very, very, very much for coming on board and doing this with me. It was an absolute pleasure and a complete honor.
Thank you, Mo. It was so nice to see you, and I'm looking forward to the day when I can give you a big hug.
Me too. I hope this whole situation settles down as soon as possible.
Yeah, eventually it will, and we will be jamming again. I'm looking forward to that.
Totally looking forward to that.
Thank you, and good luck with your page here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting, for your support and all the encouragement that you always give me.
Well, anything I can do, let me know.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, honey.
Bye-bye. Take care.